Some stories begin in the light for all to see. Others are born in the dark, whispered across airwaves when the world is asleep. Our story is one of the latter. Begins not with a bang, but with a static-laced voice cutting through the silence. Of a cold February night, the show was Coast to Coast AM, a sanctuary for the strange, the unexplained, and the nocturnal. Hosted by the legendary Art Bell, it was a digital campfire for millions of listeners across America. On this particular night, a call came through that would ignite one of the most bizarre and enduring legends of the modern era. All right, let's go to the wild card line. You're on the air with Art Bell. Hello. Hello, Art. My name is Mel. I'm calling from near Ellensburg. Mel, welcome. What's on your mind tonight? Well, Art, I have something on my property. It's a hole. A hole. It sounded so simple, so mundane. But the story Mel Waters was about to tell was anything but. His voice was calm, but his tale was unbelievable. He spoke of a place on his land where the laws of physics seemed to collapse, a void that defied measurement, logic, and perhaps reality itself. A rugged man in his 50s, Mel, stands at the edge of a perfectly circular, dark hole in the ground about 9 feet in diameter. The hole is surrounded by a low, crude stone wall. The forest around is dense and silent. He is meticulously lowering a heavy-duty fishing line into the abyss. The reel spins endlessly. I've tried measuring it. I bought a lot of fishing line. A lot. I lowered a 1-pound weight down there. I got to 1,000 feet, then 5,000, then 10,000. I just kept buying more line and tying it on. I've had over 80,000 feet of line down that hole, Art, and I still haven't hit the bottom. That single call broadcast to millions of insomniacs, dreamers, and seekers of the strange would spark one of America's most perplexing modern legends. The mystery of Mel's Hole. Could this be real? A bottomless pit, a wound in the earth hidden in modern America. Or was this an elaborate hoax, a masterfully told campfire story for the radio age? Or was it something far more disturbing, your secret so profound, the government would do anything to keep it hidden? To understand the legend, you must first understand the land. Catitas County, Washington. A place of rugged beauty and deep-rooted folklore. It's here Mel Waters claimed that his property held not just a hole, but a presence, an anomaly that bent the rules of nature. It's not just deep art, it's strange. Animals won't go near it. Birds will fly around it, not over it. My dogs, they just whine and tuck their tails if they get within 100 feet. Mel claimed the hole emitted a kind of null zone. Radio signals died. Electronic equipment malfunctioned. It was as if the hole was consuming sound and energy. Locals had long whispered tales about the spot. They called it the Devil's Hole, but the stories went beyond strange animal behavior. They delved into the realm of life, death, and resurrection. My grandfather, he swore by what he saw. We had a coonhound, O.L. Rusty. Best dog you ever saw. He got sick, real sick. Vet said it was cancer. One day, he just passed on in his sleep. My grandfather was broken up about it. He couldn't bear to bury him. He'd heard the old stories about the hole. So he took Rusty's body, wrapped it in a blanket, and gave him to the hole. He thought that was the end of it, a final resting place. But about a week later, he was out hunting near that same ridge, and he saw him. He saw Rusty trotting through the woods, clear as day. He called his name, but the dog just stopped and stared. It was alive, but my grandfather said it was different. The eyes were empty. It wasn't his dog anymore. Not really. It came back, but it left something behind in that hole. Something important. A resurrected pet. Alive, but soulless. It sounds like a ghost story, a piece of rural folklore. But for believers, it was evidence of the hole's unnatural power. Some claimed it had healing properties. Others, like the story of the dog, suggested it was a flawed portal, a place that could return the body, but not the spirit. But for Mel, the greatest mystery remained its depth. 10,000 feet. That's over 15 miles of line dropped into the earth, without hitting a single obstruction. To put that in perspective, it's more than twice the depth of the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in any of Earth's oceans. It's nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. From a scientific standpoint, it was not just improbable, it was impossible. Dr. Davies points to Russia's Kola superdeep borehole, the deepest artificial point on Earth. Dr. Alan Davies' humanity's deepest hole is the Kola borehole. It took decades of advanced drilling to reach about 40,000 feet, or 7.5 miles. At that depth, the temperature was over 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rock behaved more like a plastic than a solid. An open 9-foot-wide natural chasm at 80,000 feet. It defies the known principles of geology and physics. It couldn't exist. Science had its verdict: impossible. But Mel's story was just getting started. And soon, he claimed, he would have visitors who seemed to believe the hole was very real indeed. Shortly after his second appearance on Coast to Coast AM, Mel Waters' isolated life was shattered. He claimed that the very people, his callers, had speculated about the fabled men in black had paid him a visit. They weren't from a specific agency. They were simply the government. They showed up one day, just pulled up. 2 of them in dark suits. They told me I had to stop talking about the hole. They said there had been a clandestine plane crash on my land, and the area was now under federal jurisdiction for cleanup, a matter of national security. Mel knew. There had been no crash. The sky had been clear. But he was given no room to argue. He was told he was trespassing on what was now temporarily U.S. government property. Then they made me an offer, a very generous offer. A large sum of money paid out as a monthly stipend for the rest of my life. In exchange, I had to lease my land to them indefinitely, leave the country, and never speak of the hole again. They had it all arranged. They told me I had a new home waiting for me in Australia. A forced exile paid for by a shadowy government agency. Was the U.S. government covering something up? Or was Mel simply adding the most potent ingredient of all to his growing myth, a conspiracy? Marcus Thorne Mel's account fits a well-established pattern. It's the classic cover-up playbook. We've seen it with Roswell, with alleged UFO crash retrievals, with witnesses to sensitive military tests. It's a textbook case of containment. Marcus Thorne, the question is why? Why would the government go to such lengths for a hole in the ground? It suggests the hole is not just a geological anomaly. It's a strategic asset, a gateway, a power source, a dumping ground for things they don't want the world to see. When you see this level of response, you know it's not about a simple hole. It's about what the hole represents, or what's inside it. Mel's story of government intervention was bolstered by scattered reports from other locals in Kittitas County. While no one could confirm Mel's specific account, they spoke of a heightened, unusual military presence in the area around that time. Local hunter, we'd see black, unmarked helicopters flying low over Manistash Ridge at night. No lights, just the sound. It was spooky. Former diner waitress, a couple of guys came in once, not from around here, dressed in military-style gear, but had no insignias. They were asking questions about old land surveys, strange landmarks. Paid in cash and left. Were these isolated incidents easily explained away? Or were they pieces of a much larger, hidden puzzle? To find the truth, investigators and journalists knew they had to do 2 things: find the hole and find any official record of a man named Mel Waters. For any legend to have weight, it needs an anchor in reality. For Mel's hole, that anchor should have been property records, a deed, a tax receipt, something tangible. But when journalists and independent researchers began to dig, they didn't find an anchor. They found another void. Sarah Jennings, we have conducted exhaustive searches. We've checked property records for Kittitas County and neighboring counties. From the 1940s through the late 1990s, there is no record of a Melvin Waters or Mel Waters owning any parcel of land that matches the description he provided. In fact, we can find no official record, no birth certificate, no driver's license, no tax records for a Mel Waters living in this area during that time period. From an official, documented standpoint, the man who called Art Bell's show did not exist. It was a stunning revelation. The storyteller himself seemed to be a ghost. This discovery split the community of believers. For the skeptics, it was proof positive. The entire story was a fabrication, a hoax from start to finish. Dr. Alan Davies, geologist, when you have no physical evidence of the hole and no legal evidence of the man. Occam's razor suggests the simplest explanation is the most likely one. The story was invented. But for the true believers, this lack of evidence was, paradoxically, the most compelling evidence of all. Marcus Thorne's conspiracy researcher. Of course, you can't find him. That's the point. If a shadowy government agency disappears you, they don't just move your body. They erase your existence. They scrub the records. The fact that there's no trace of Mel Waters is exactly what you'd expect to find if his story about the government intervention was true. It's a perfectly executed cover-up. With Mel himself a phantom, the focus shifted entirely to finding the physical hole. Armed with Mel's vague descriptions on my property near Manstash Ridge, countless expeditions have been launched over the past 2 decades. Searcher 1 to his friend. The coordinates that guy posted online lead to nothing, just solid ground. Searcher 2 into a walkie-talkie, anything on your end. Bill, no one has ever found it. Not a single credible photograph, video, or geological survey has ever confirmed the existence of a 9-foot-wide, bottomless hole in Kittitas County. There is no Mel, there is no hole. There is only the story. And perhaps that was the point all along. While the search in the physical world yielded nothing but frustration, the story of Mel's hole found fertile ground in a new, burgeoning landscape: the internet. In the chat rooms, forums, and nascent websites of the late 90s, the legend took on a life of its own. It became a piece of collaborative fiction, a mystery that everyone could help solve. Theories ran wild. It was an entrance to the Hollow Earth. It was an alien bio-waste disposal site. It was a military installation for developing teleportation technology. It was a portal to another dimension. The lack of evidence didn't kill the story. It fed it, allowing it to become whatever people wanted it to be. And then, in 2,000 years after he vanished, the architect of the myth returned to pour gasoline on the digital fire. Mel, it's good to hear your voice. Where have you been? I've been around art. They let me come back, but things have changed. The hole, it's active. I was told a story by a Basque friend about a sheep. It fell into the hole. They managed to pull it out. When they butchered it later, they found something impossible. It had a metal tumor inside it, like a living metallic object. And there was a seal, a baby seal, that came out of the hole alive. How does a seal get into a hole in the middle of Washington? The stories grew more fantastical with each call. Mel spoke of a mysterious, sentient black beam that would emerge from the hole, not a beam of light, but a beam of solid darkness that seemed to suck the light out of the air. He claimed it could move objects and communicate. It's not just a hole anymore, Art. I think it's a doorway. It's a tool for something. I can't say for what or for who. But it's not of this earth. I know that now. Dr. Benjamin Carter Mel's hole is a perfect specimen of modern, or what we call, digital folklore. Traditional folklore tales of dragons, of enchanted forests, of journeys to the underworld serve to explain the unexplainable in a pre-scientific world. They reflected the fears and wonders of their time. Mel's Hole does the exact same thing. For the 21st century, Dr. Benjamin Carter, our dragons are now aliens. Our enchanted forests are secret government bases. And the journey to the underworld is a literal bottomless pit. The story became a digital campfire. It's a space where a community can gather to collectively wonder, to speculate, to share evidence, and to keep the mystery alive. In a world where every corner is mapped and cataloged, Mel's Hole represents a final, tantalizing blank spot on the map. So, the ultimate question isn't, is Mel's Hole real? Anymore. The question we should be asking is, why, after 25 years with zero hard evidence, are we still obsessed with it? That's the real mystery. Decades have passed since that first call. Art Bell, the gracious host who gave the legend its platform, has passed away. Mel Waters, after a final cryptic call in 2002, vanished completely and for good. His ultimate fate remains as unknown as that of his fabled hole. All that is left is the echo of his story, a paradox with no solution. Dr. Amelia Reed, we are pattern-seeking, narrative-driven creatures. We need stories. But more than that, in an age of information overload, we crave mystery. We live in a world of GPS, satellite imagery, and instant answers. The unknown has been largely domesticated. A story like Mel's Hole is powerful because it pushes back against that. It offers a pocket of pure, unsolvable wonder. The story persists, not in spite of its lack of proof, but because of it. Its ambiguity is its strength. It can be whatever. You need it to be a thrilling ghost story, a complex government conspiracy, a philosophical metaphor, or just a damn good yarn. So, what is the truth of Mel's Hole? Was it a lonely man's elaborate fiction? A brilliant prank played on a national audience? Or the carefully erased evidence of a secret so profound it had to be buried under layers of silence and misdirection? Perhaps. The hole was never a place you could find on a map. Perhaps it was always a destination of the mind, a symbol of the unknown that lies just beneath the surface of our well-ordered world. A reminder that no matter how much we explore and explain, there will always be shadows where monsters or miracles can hide. Have a theory? Share it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories.